I recently took the trip of a lifetime to Italy, Greece, and Croatia. If you haven't seen that video yet, please check it out. Prior to going, I wanted to make absolutely sure that my photos and videos were backed up throughout the trip. The equipment I was bringing was my Sony ZV-1, a remarkable travel camera by the way, GoPro Hero 11 Black, M1 iPad Air, and iPhone 15 Pro Max. I started researching YouTube videos on how to back up photos and videos on the road. My goodness, talk about driving a thumbtack with a sledgehammer. So many of these videos were overly complicated, telling you need a power source, a specific Apple dongle, an SSD, all these other cords. Well, now that I've completed my trip, I can tell you, if you're an Apple user, you only need a few things to back up your travel photos. Here's all you need. Number 1, an iPhone or iPad with adequate charge and adequate space to hold your photos. Number 2, a dongle that works with your iPhone or iPad as long as it has a card reader that supports your device's storage. It does not have to be an Apple-specific dongle, and I'm sure if you're using any modern MacBook Air or MacBook Pro, you already have a dongle that will work. Number 3, an iCloud account with adequate storage for the photos and videos you intend to back up. Finally, number 4, and this is pretty key, you're going to need an internet connection at various points throughout your trip. If you're planning to use hotel, ship, or public Wi-Fi hotspots during your trip, I also recommend using a VPN service like NordVPN. If you plan on using your phone as a hotspot to back up your photos, you should check your international data plan to make sure you have enough gigabytes to cover the amount that you want to back up. Before I show you how to actually back up your photos, I'm going to go through and show you how to check to make sure you have the parameters necessary to use this technique. First question, does my device have enough space? Whether you're using an iPad or an iPhone, the procedure is the same. You're going to tap Settings, then General, then Storage, and then the device will bring up a bar graph that shows how much total memory you have and how much is being used. The example on the left is my actual cell phone. Now, you can see there's so little storage left on my phone that it didn't make sense to use it for backing up my photos. The example on the right-hand side is my iPad. As you can see, it has 80 gigabytes of space free. However, don't forget about the entertainment that you want to load for your flight. So by the time you add movies and podcasts and YouTube videos, maybe some music, that will begin to cut into the available space. So in my instance, I chose not to bring this iPad, and instead I brought one that had 256 gigabytes of storage. Question number 2, does my iCloud account have enough space? To check this, you're going to tap on Settings, then tap on your Apple ID, tap on iCloud, and that will bring up another bar graph that shows you the total amount of space you have in your iCloud account and how much of that is being used. So again, you just want to make sure you have enough space in your iCloud account to cover the number of pictures and videos you anticipate taking. Question number 3, is my iCloud backup turned on? To check this, you want to tap on Settings, then your Apple ID. You want to look at iCloud Backup, make sure that is turned on. And if you tap it, it will bring you to another screen. And you want to make sure that the Backup This Pad option is turned on. Question number 4, is Photos Syncing turned on? To check this, you want to tap on Settings and then your Apple ID. Scroll down to midway through the page and you'll see Apps using iCloud. You'll want to make sure that the Photos app is turned on. When you tap on that, you'll be brought to another page. You want to make sure that Sync This iPad is turned on as well. Please note that in my example, those 2 features are turned off because I'm not using the iPad that I travel with. So once again, please make sure that both of these options are turned on. Just to show you how easy this is, I'm going to demo with my own equipment. All you have to do is, like I said, you have to have a generic dongle with an SD card reader or a micro SD card reader, depending on, what your device uses. I traveled with a camera that uses an SD card, and then I did travel with a GoPro. I wound up not using it, but there is a micro SD card slot here on this dongle as well. Again, it doesn't have to be a special Apple branded product. It just has to work with whatever your device is, your iPhone or your iPad. Okay, and that's it. You don't need any other special equipment, any other special power delivery. You don't need cords or anything. All you need to do is take your dongle and plug it into your Apple device, which we're going to do now. Okay, and then all you have to do is open the Photos app, which is natively installed on, I think, almost everything. So once you do that, you can see that your card will appear here under Devices. Okay, so all you have to do is click on that. It's going to bring up this import screen. And once you're on the import screen, you can see it begins to populate thumbnails of the pictures that are on the card. Now, what is really nice about this process is you can see that Photos already keeps up with what's been imported and what has not been imported. And so for every day of your trip, what you can do at the end of the day, when you get back to your hotel room or your ship's cabin or whatever, is you can go ahead and hook up the dongle to your iPad, take your cards out, and then put them into your dongle. And it'll read in all the information. It already keeps up with what's already been imported and what hasn't been imported onto your iPad. Now, just to make it quick for today, I'm just going to select Sunday. Now, you can go ahead and hit select. You can go ahead and select import all. And again, it will keep up with what's been imported and what hasn't been imported. So anyway, let's go ahead and select all these photos from Sunday. We're going to hit import, and we're going to say import selected. So there's 201 items that it's going to import. I'm going to give it a second. Okay, now that it's done importing, this is really important. So it says, would you like to delete the imported photos from the attached camera? And what you want to hit is you want to make sure that you select keep. And that way, all the items that you imported will still remain on your SD card. So this is really important for redundancy's sake. So again, we're using a travel scenario. So now you have a copy of your pictures still on your SD card, or micro SD, depending on what you did. You will also have a copy on your iPad. And then the third copy will be imported into the iCloud. I want to pause here for a second to talk about the 3-2-1 backup strategy for those of you who may not be familiar with this term. The strategy is to have 3 total backups of your content, 2 on physical devices in 2 different locations and 1 in the cloud. And here's how I implemented that strategy while traveling. First, if I was out taking pictures, I always left my iPad locked up in the hotel room or cabin. Second, if I had my iPad with me on deck, or in the hotel lobby, or in a restaurant running my iCloud backup, I made sure that my camera was still locked up in the hotel room or cabin. If it was absolutely necessary to move both devices at the same time, such as when we flew into Rome, or when we transferred from our hotel to the cruise ship, or when we flew home, we made sure that the iPad and our main camera were in 2 different bags. For instance, my wife often carried the camera while I carried the iPad. Finally, as discussed earlier, it is essential that you run your iCloud backup consistently throughout your trip. For example, there were a few times where we were in port and I had a strong enough signal that I was able to run my iCloud backup using my phone as a hotspot. However, my main strategy was to run my iCloud backup overnight using hotel Wi-Fi and NordVPN. Now let's see what happens. I'm going to remove this SD card. There's no need to eject it. You don't have to, like on macOS where you right click and eject. But let's say, this is now day 2. I'm using my camera. I took a bunch of pictures. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put my SD card into the card reader. As you can see, once again, it pops up under devices. I'm going to hit that. And now you can see the already imported jumps up to 341 because again, it already keeps up with the things that it's imported so that you're not making duplicates. At this point, you just want to repeat the process every day of your trip. select the new photos that need to be backed up, tap on Import, and then on Import Selected. A message Import Complete will pop up when the process is completed. Make sure to tap on Keep when you close this pop-up. This will ensure that the content remains on the card. As soon as you are able to log on to a Wi-Fi connection, you'll get a little progress bar down here from iCloud, and it will tell you how many photos have been uploaded, how many videos have been uploaded, etc. But there'll just be a little progress bar there. Then it'll say something like, you have 1,000 photos to back up, and 500 out of that 1,000 has been backed up. And so that way you have an idea of how many of your vacation pictures and videos have made it to the cloud. Well, that is it. That's how I backed up my photos and videos for my 2-week trip to Europe. Once you get the hang of it, it is a very easy and reliable backup method. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for hanging around. Please let me know what follow-up questions you have in the comments. Please consider dropping a like and subscribing for future travel content. Thank you.